have a new motherboard. Sadly, what did I look up? So this is the new Skylake motherboard that I have recently purchased because screw 3rd series. That's too much effort. So I have an mATX Z170 motherboard. Line review. Why do I keep looking up? So we have the motherboard in all of its sheethness. I'm just gonna pull it out somewhere. Oh, it's bad. Stop that. Stay. Alrighty, so we have this, and it comes with not one, but 2 SATA cables. So you get, I'm gonna open this up for you guys. So you get a 90-degree fitting for like your side stuff, and you get a straight one. So like both straight, both SATA 3, PCI 3, whatever it's called. You get an M.2, so this board does support M.2, which is going to be good because I'm going to be using my old M.2 SSD and chucking it in this thing, so this thing is going to be running a lot faster. You get a really poorly designed I.O. I was hoping this would be black. That would make this like motherboard a lot nicer. You get a manual, sort of. No, you don't. You get an instruction guide. Why do you need an instruction guide? It's a motherboard. And we get a manual, which probably never read. That's great. I know how to install a heatsink. So this board, and you get drivers obviously. So this board is obviously 6th gen, so it supports, I'll just physically show you actually. It's got all the new features. So it's got, it's quite nice. So we have Type-C, HDMI, DVI, VGA, obviously. USB 3.0, I don't think this board supports 3.1 at all. Then we have USB 2.0 and a gigabit Ethernet. The basic sound and 2 PS2 ports for mouse and keyboard. It's a very basic I/O. It is an mATX board, so you know obviously you wouldn't get that much. Do have 4 DIMM slots, 2 lanes, obviously just standard stuff. We have an eSATA, which I'm never going to use. So we have 1, 2, 3 fans. That's not as much as I was hoping for, but it should definitely be enough. We've got a nice heatsink here. We have our M.2 slot right here. You know, all right heatsinks. They look, you know, all good. It's not going to really matter. I'm not going to be able to see anything in the SIGO anyway, and that's pretty much it. It's a pretty basic board. It's all right. Like I wouldn't say it's the greatest board, but it's a board and it would probably work, and it can overclock, and that's all that matters to me right now in this very position. So anyway, this board also has 2 USB 3 internal headers, as you can see here, 2 USB 2, HD audio. Don't know what this stuff does. Don't know what this stuff does. Debug. Don't know what this does. That's pretty much it. That's it. Yep. That's it. That is the board. I hope that didn't break. What's up, guys? This is, you know, we're back. Retro Retake guys doing vlog thing. So, as you can see, we have my computer. So, we got, this is, I think this is the overclocking section. So this is where we explain how we overclock and everything. Because last time, I don't know if we actually showed that. We tried overclocking. I don't know. Well, anyway, we tried overclocking using Multiplier app, and some things were saying it was working and some things weren't. So I think CPU Z wasn't showing that it was overclocked, but the other one, let's see if I can find it on here really quickly. I think it was like Real Temp or something. What's this one? Yeah, Real Temp. Real Temp was showing that it had to change. So me and Matt weren't really sure about what was going on, so we just like, you know, left it for a while. So this has been probably a couple of weeks after we've done, you know, the last episode. And then, you know, I went on a weekend out, and Matt was just like, I'm going to do it. So I let him do it. And he's actually figured out how to overclock on this. So this isn't using multipliers, this is using the base clock. That's the one. I was going to say BLCK, but then people would be like, oh. Anyway, so we're using, you know, the base clock. We changed the base clock, so we're changing multiplier of the RAM and all that sort of stuff as well. So what we've done is we've overclocked the CPU to 4 GHz safely. We've just given it a little bit more. If I bring up CPU-Z, we can see that we have a little bit more than 4 GHz, but that's fine because, you know, it's roughly where we want to be. It's stable, so as you can see here, we are at 4.041 GHz, or like, you know, around that area. That way, it's like we can still overclock. This is because we've overclocked our RAM, so we wanted to push our RAM towards the with my RAM to the 2600 range, and as you can see, we've done it. It's stable. We ran Intel burner, I believe, and we've passed the test on that, so this thing's stable through the CPU. GPU, Matt did some overclocking separately. I'm not sure if he's applied it to this computer yet, but we should just be able to copy paste the results that we got from that, and this should be fine. And it should be ready for gaming. So that's pretty much it. There's not really much else to talk about. We'll show how we did all the overclocking in a minute. But this is pretty much the end of the vlog, and there's not much else to do. So enjoy watching the rest of how we overclocked and everything. Alrighty guys, so welcome to the BIOS. You guys have seen this before. We explained this. This is, you know, custom curve fans and everything. This is very modern UEFI BIOS. So we've got the CPU temp up here, all this sort of stuff. Core temp. We'll be explaining this in a sec. We've got CPU. We've got, you know, what it's actually at and what it's, you know, manufactured for, all that sort of stuff. How much RAM and actual RAM speed. So as you can see here, we got 2657. That is because we are changing the base clock, and we try to get it to 2666, but that wouldn't come up for what we wanted. So we're going to go into the advanced option, or the advanced mode, clicking F7 or whatever, and we're going to go to the AI tweaker, I believe, or the advanced, I don't really know. Well, alright, yeah, AI tweaker, here we go. Let me get the keyboard. Sorry. Alright, so as you can see, we are on manual. There's 3 options: auto, manual, XMP. We're going to go to manual, and we're going to be able to change our base clock frequency. And as you can see, we're at 15.5. We are able to do the 0.5s, I believe, because we have... I don't actually know how. I think we're just allowed to anyway. Alright, so we have the base clock spectrum spread off. So Matt was just explaining to me that this could be like, we disabled this so we'd be getting, as it reads, a more accurate base clock, and Matt suggests that, states that it's probably getting a more accurate base clock because it's not fluctuating. It's like trying to stay at this base clock for most of the time. We've disabled our multi-core, so we're going to be using Intel's turbo core as opposed to the ASUS version. We've got our CPU core ratio on auto. If we were to set this to single cores or per cores, this would be changing our multiplier. So we've got our odd ratio enabled, so this allows... I missed this, but it doesn't really matter. Oh, it kind of does, actually. So we've got our ratio, that's going to be set to auto. You can just, you know, whatever. We've got our RAM. So obviously we've got all these options that we can't use because our RAM is not able to be pushed that far. Our RAM is only meant to be able to be pushed to 2666. And this is our closest ratio with this base clock frequency that we can get it to, so we're going to be using that. We've got, you know, see, this is the same, this is the same, blah, 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 blah. And we've got our ratio. So this here determines, I'll just use the mouse, our cache frequency. Apparently we should be keeping it around the 2900 mark. 3900 mark. Sorry. Matt, explain that to me. I don't know why, Matt. I'm the speaker, Matt is the informationer, so if you have any questions, ask him. We've got our ratio, our voltage. This is at 1.28. We could probably go less, but I think this is, this is fine. It's not putting out enough, too much heat. It's stable and everything, so we're not going to really touch that. We did give the RAM a little bit more voltage, so we just did the test before and it was stable, so this is fine. We're going to leave it at that. I don't think anything else was changed. I'm not sure about here, though. I think that's pretty much it. for like what we've done. So, you know, if you, for some reason, this motherboard didn't like using the multiplier, we're not sure if it's the motherboard or the CPU, so I don't really want to have to buy another motherboard or a CPU to be able to check this, so I think we'll just, you know, leave it with changing the base clock. It did its job. We got it to 4 gigahertz, or like slightly more, it doesn't really matter. And we're stable, and that's all I want. So we can play some games. And it probably won't be used for a while, so money well spent.